In the middle of a barren Colorado desert, surrounded by razor wire and high stone walls, stands a place so secure that even the most dangerous criminals in America whisper its name with fear. Its official name is the United States Penitentiary Administrative Maximum Facility, but to the men locked inside, it's simply known as ADX Florence, or as many call it, the Alcatraz of the Rockies. This is where America hides the people it fears most. Terrorists, cartel bosses, masterminds of deadly plots, killers who murdered even inside prison walls. Men who once caused chaos on the outside now spend their days in near total silence, isolated from the world, and from each other. And yet, even in a place designed to crush the human spirit, there are moments that shock even hardened prison officials. One morning, deep inside the concrete heart of ADX Florence, an alarm shattered the silence. A prisoner, one of the most heavily guarded men in the country, was missing from his cell. Cameras showed no escape. Doors were sealed. Guards were certain he had not walked out. And yet, he was gone. The command center erupted in panic. Lockdown sirens blared. Every cell door slammed shut. Every hallway was sealed off. Within minutes, armed teams flooded the unit. Then, from behind a false wall in a shower area, they found him, blooded but alive, having tried to tunnel through the reinforced concrete with a piece of metal he had hidden for weeks. He hadn't gotten far. But the attempt was enough to terrify the staff. If someone could even try to escape from ADX, what else might happen here? The story of ADX Florence is one of control, punishment, and absolute power, but also of desperation, madness, and the lengths men will go to when there is nothing left to lose. ADX Florence opened its doors in 1994, built in response to a growing problem. America's most dangerous prisoners were still running gangs, plotting murders, and even ordering hits, all from behind bars. Traditional high-security prisons weren't enough to contain them. The federal government needed a place that was inescapable, unbreakable, and unforgiving. They built it in the remote high desert near the town of Florence, Colorado, miles from any major city. It was designed with one mission: to make escape impossible. Everything about ADX is meant to isolate. Each cell is a small concrete box, 7 by 12 feet, barely enough space to pace in circles. Prisoners spend 23 hours a day locked inside. There are no bars, only thick steel doors with small slots. The walls are built at slight angles so inmates can't communicate with each other. Even the windows are slit-like openings aimed at the sky, giving no view of the outside world. Inside, silence dominates. Conversations are rare. Movement is limited. Many inmates never see another human being without steel and glass between them. Meals arrive through a slot in the door. Recreation, 1 hour a day, happens alone in a small, caged pen. It's not just a prison. It's a machine built to erase any trace of power these men once had. And the list of names inside reads like a history book of America's darkest crimes. There's Ramzi Yousef, the mastermind of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. He once boasted he could bring down skyscrapers, now he spends nearly every hour in silence. There's Nichols, the co-conspirator in the Oklahoma City bombing, who helped Timothy McVeigh kill 168 people. Nichols is locked down for life, cut off from the world he once sought to change through violence. There's Ted Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber, who mailed deadly bombs for nearly 2 decades. He once lived off the grid, eluding capture, now every second of his life is monitored. And there's El Chapo Guzmán, the Mexican drug lord whose cartel flooded America with narcotics and ordered countless murders. After escaping 2 prisons in Mexico, US authorities sent him to ADX to make sure he would never slip away again. For most inmates, this is where the story ends. They live out their days in isolation until they die. But inside ADX, even silence can't fully suppress human nature. One of the most infamous incidents occurred in 2005, when Thomas Silverstein, a man once called America's most dangerous prisoner, managed to attack a guard during a rare escort. Silverstein had already spent decades in solitary after killing a correctional officer in another prison. At ADX, he found a way to turn even a few seconds of contact into an opportunity for violence. It was a reminder to everyone, no matter how secure a place may seem, danger still lurks behind every steel door. The prison's conditions have also drawn criticism from human rights groups. Some inmates have spent decades in solitary confinement, their only human contact with guards delivering meals or escorting them to showers. Former wardens and psychologists have testified that the conditions, while effective at controlling violence, can break the mind. Some inmates develop severe mental illnesses. Others have attempted suicide. In one case, An inmate tore open his arms with a piece of metal he had hidden in his mattress, writing messages on the wall in his own blood. Guards found him just in time to save his life. Another prisoner, after years without meaningful contact, began speaking to himself constantly, creating imaginary friends to fill the endless silence. 4 prison officials, these are the necessary costs of controlling men who once terrorized the nation. 4 critics, they are signs of a system that goes beyond punishment into psychological torture. Despite its fearsome reputation, ADX isn't just about punishment, it's about control. The prison operates under a strict system of behavior-based movement. Inmates who follow the rules and show good behavior over many years may earn slightly more privileges, a few more minutes of recreation, access to books or TV, or eventually a transfer to a less restrictive facility. But that path is long and rare. Most men never leave. The closest they get to freedom is the step-down program, a multi-year process where inmates can gradually transition from complete isolation to limited interaction. Even then, one slip, one violation, can send them back to square one. For those like El Chapo or Ramzi Yousef, even that possibility is off the table. They are classified as never transfer inmates, men too dangerous ever to rejoin a general prison population. And yet, for all its impenetrable walls and high-tech security, the question still lingers, is ADX Florence truly unbreakable? Rumors have long circulated about escape plans, hidden tunnels, or corrupt staff. None have ever succeeded. But in 2012, a former warden admitted that if anyone could escape from ADX, they would deserve to be free. That's how confident the system is. Still, whispers persist, stories of inmates quietly testing the limits, of hidden tools, of coded messages passed through the smallest cracks in the system. Whether these stories are truth or myth, no one knows. But they speak to one thing: even here, where every second is controlled, the human will to resist never truly dies. And deep inside the prison, one inmate is about to push that will further than anyone before him, setting the stage for a confrontation that will shake even this fortress to its core. They call it the clean version of hell. That's what one former warden once said about ADX Florence. And if Chapter 1 showed the blast-proof walls and razor wire that keep the world out, Chapter 2 reveals the silent, crushing world inside those walls, where the real punishment begins. Imagine waking up every day in a 7 by 12 foot concrete cell. Your bed is a concrete slab with a thin mattress. Your desk and stool are concrete too, built into the wall so they can't be moved or broken. There's a single stainless steel sink and toilet. The only light comes from a narrow slit of a window, angled upward so you can see the sky, but nothing else. No mountains. No horizon. No people. Just a strip of pale blue that never changes. This is life inside America's most secure prison, and for more than 400 inmates, this is home, for decades, sometimes until the day they die. The men who end up here are not small-time offenders. These are people the government considers too dangerous to mix with anyone else: terrorists, spies, cartel bosses, gang leaders, serial killers, bombers. Many have already killed people behind bars. Some have escaped from other maximum security prisons. Others have used phones, lawyers, or coded letters to direct violence from inside their cells. ADX Florence was built to stop all of that. And it does. Every morning, the day begins at 5:30 a.m. The lights snap on automatically. Inmates rise, wash, and wait. There's no call to breakfast. Meals arrive silently through a slot in the door. A guard slides in a tray, and the door snaps shut again. There are no dining halls here, no conversations, no shared tables. Every meal is eaten alone. For 23 hours a day, the steel door stays locked. That last hour, the only one outside the cell, is spent in what officials call a recreation pen. It's a small, concrete-walled space just big enough to pace in circles. Some have mesh ceilings that let in a sliver of sunlight. Others are fully enclosed. The men inside call them dog runs. They walk, stretch, or stare at the sky. Some talk to themselves. Some refuse to leave their cells at all. Contact with other humans is rare. Most conversations happen through steel doors or between prisoner and guard during strip searches. Even medical appointments, legal visits, and interrogations happen behind thick glass barriers. For most inmates, months can pass without them being touched by another person. This environment does what it's designed to do. It isolates, breaks communication, and controls. But it also breaks people. Psychologists have long warned about what extreme isolation does to the mind. And inside ADX, those warnings are real. Take Richard Reed, the shoe bomber. In 2001, he tried to blow up an airliner with explosives hidden in his shoes. Now, he spends his days in near-total silence at ADX. At first, he wrote letters, fiery, angry rants. But over the years, his writing slowed. Then it stopped. Staff say he now rarely speaks. Then there's Ramzi Yousef, the mastermind of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Early in his sentence, he kept himself busy with books and exercise. But years of solitude changed him. Guards reported that he began pacing his cell for hours, whispering under his breath. One officer said, "He talks to people who aren't there." Other inmates have fared worse. Some have mutilated themselves. Some have attempted suicide. A few have succeeded. One man, a convicted mobster, bashed his head against the wall until he was unconscious. Another swallowed pieces of his glasses in a desperate bid to end his life. These incidents are not common, but they happen often enough that ADX has a special unit just for inmates with severe mental illness. Even there, though, the cells look the same, the isolation remains. Yet even in this fortress of silence, the outside world still finds ways to seep in, and sometimes, it sparks chaos. In 2019, El Chapo Guzmán arrived at ADX after his conviction in a U.S. federal court. He was one of the most powerful drug lords in history, known for two dramatic prison escapes in Mexico, one through a laundry cart, the other through a mile-long tunnel dug beneath his cell. U.S. officials vowed that would never happen again. His cell at ADX is monitored constantly. Every visitor is screened, every letter read, every call recorded. He has no contact with other inmates. Even his outdoor yard is a small cage with walls too high to see over. And yet, rumors spread that even here, El Chapo had tried to pass messages, coded phrases written in innocuous letters, attempts to reach his cartel. Officials quickly tightened restrictions even more. It was proof that even the strongest prison in America is never fully at rest. There have been moments of violence too, rare, but shocking when they happen. In 2005, Richard Lee McNair, a career escape artist, was transferred to ADX after breaking out of two other prisons. He once mailed himself out of a facility in a crate. In ADX, he couldn't escape, but he tried anyway. He began carving tiny grooves into the window frame of his cell, attempting to weaken the steel bars. Guards discovered it before he got far. It was a reminder, no matter how hopeless it seems, some inmates never stop trying. Even more alarming was an incident in 2018. An inmate named Fazlidin Kurbanov, serving time for plotting a terror attack, attacked a guard with a homemade shank during recreation. The officer survived, but the attack shocked the facility. It showed that even in near-total isolation, rage and violence could still erupt. These events are rare, and that's the point. ADX works because it limits every possibility for danger. But nothing is ever absolute. Even here, in a place built to be perfect, cracks can form. Some inmates do eventually leave ADX, but not many. Those who behave for years can enter a step-down program. It's a slow, multi-year process. They move to slightly less restrictive units, where they might share recreation time with one other inmate or have limited group programs. If they continue to follow the rules, they may eventually transfer to a lower security prison. But most will never leave. For them, the only exit is a coffin. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, died in 2023 while serving his sentence at ADX. Ramzi Yousef is expected to die here too. Terry Nichols will live out his life behind these walls. So will El Chapo. The United States built ADX for men like them, men too dangerous ever to see the outside world again. Yet despite everything, the concrete cells, the steel doors, the endless silence, some inmates cling to a strange kind of hope. Hope that they'll outlast the system. Hope that someone will overturn their conviction. Hope that they'll walk outside again, even if it's just for a few minutes. For one inmate, that hope becomes an obsession. Over years of isolation, he studies every detail, the timing of guards, the sound of footsteps, the placement of cameras. He collects tiny scraps, bits of metal, plastic, anything he can hide. And slowly, he begins to plan. One night, a guard walking his usual route hears a faint metallic scrape, a sound that shouldn't exist in a place like this. When he peers into the cell, he sees something that makes his blood run cold. The beginnings of a hole, no bigger than a coin, carved into the corner of a wall. It's nothing, yet. But it's proof that even here, where freedom is supposed to be impossible, the human spirit never fully surrenders. And that realization sends a ripple of unease through the staff. If one man is trying, how many others are thinking the same thing?